Do you know Chris Stefano?
I'm thinking about him right now because I saw this podcast where he was crying.
Yes, I was
talking
just thinking about that
this
clip. He's like, I'm watching my child grow up through a phone.
I'm crying too watching that.
And that f***ed me up. So I think, yeah, exactly what you just said. Like, you kind of wait until, you know, they get a little older and they understand why you're gone. They understand, and you know, because other than that, you know, she's been looking around like, where's dad?
And for somebody like him, it's a crazy thing because it's like he's accomplished becoming successful on a level that he probably never could have dreamed of or that he worked his whole life to get to. And realistically, if you didn't get to this point, you would probably still be doing this amount of time on the road or this amount of time away from your kids, except it would be like you working construction or you driving trucks or whatever, or you being a comedian who's trying to make it, who's not making as much money, you know?
It doesn't get easier.
So in your mind, though, when you're making X amount of dollars, it's like, I have to put the time in to make this money because this is the amount of money that's going to change my kid's life. But how do you strike that balance about how much time you spend with them versus how much time you spend making an amount of money that's going to change their life?
Exactly, because even if you're super on, you're just busy touring, you're doing press, you're doing podcasts, you're doing everything. But even if you're not on, you're working a day job and then you're doing stand-up at night trying to make that a reality. So you're never really just like chilling, right? So no, it really is. You have to just, because and somebody like that just picks their head up and they're like, fuck, I looked at my tour dates and I'm on the road for the next 4 months. Granted, these are awesome venues and theaters and we're shooting a special at the end of it, but you're like, how do I get family in this?
And that's why, as somebody like you, how old are you again?
29.
Oh, 29. So you're kind of getting to that age where it's probably starting to become like a little bit of more of a temptation where you could kind of see yourself having an arc like mine where at some point you sort of like just chill a little bit and settle down, have a kid. Does that kind of lurk in your mind that like that could be around the corner at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because stand-up has a trajectory of like a lifetime. You know, people do stand-up until they're literally in the grave.
It's true, it ages well.
Yeah, but I think for YouTube and video stuff, I mean, it changes and there's no right or wrong like way to do YouTube, but I do think that it's like I'm going to crank out videos as much as I can right now on YouTube. And then as you get a little older, you go, okay, what do I want to do long term? Do I want to focus on a project? Do I want to stay in town and pitch a show and write that and really try to get that out? Which, you know, is like, it's like one massive project that I do every once in a while. Because right now I'm just kind of I'm going like just full speed trying to just do videos and stand up. But I do think, you know, around, you know, like 5 years or something, I should definitely be like, you know, having a house and like seeing who I'm dating or with or whatever's going on. And like, I do want to.
Are you in your hoe phase?
Well, I was in a relationship for a couple of years.
I know, and that's why I'm thinking that you would be justified in being in a hoe phase. Yeah,
there's a little bit of that. But
are you smart enough to not really share that with your audience?
Yeah. I mean, I liked being in a relationship. I liked having somebody there and like somebody to do all this with, you know, because all this traveling back and forth, like when you get home and there's nobody there, that's kind of when that adrenaline, all that like, you know, that anxiety kind of creeps in and you're just sitting there alone. You're like, what am I doing all this for? You know?
Yeah.
But then when you have somebody to share it with, it's like one of the best moments ever. You know, you don't even think about the sad when there's somebody to go along with it.
Dude, my girl and my kid are in France right now, and France and Italy for 3 weeks, right?
Damn.
Because my girl just really wanted to travel, really wanted to go to France. She wanted to go to Sicily and Italy to check out wedding venues that we might be using, right?
Oh, shit.
And I just told her straight up, like, we just got this new spot, and she really didn't expect me to go either, but like, you know, it's pretty weird to be away from your kid and your girl for 3 weeks. And I feel fine now, but the first few days, it definitely was a sort of like punishing reality check of like, yo, your life is kind of fucking empty without your girl and your kid, dude.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's kind of how I feel. And that's why it's like, I've had a few like kind of hookups, but every time after I'm just like, that doesn't really do much for me, you know, especially coming out of a long-term relationship where you talk to them every day, all day, and then, you know, you had problems, you could talk to them. You had a great day, you could talk to them. No matter what it was, you had somebody to talk to. But now you're just kind of like, fuck, am I gonna share my feelings with a girl I just met on Bumble 2 nights ago?
But that's when you just get closer to your homies, right? The guys group chat, you start sharing more.
Oh yeah, no, I got a great group of friends around me, and they've been helping me through all this really, which has been nice. But it is sometimes you do miss that, just kind of like, you know, that person you could go to, you know.
When I think about before I was with my girl and before I had a kid, it's like wow, I was really like hanging out with this crew of BMX dudes and pretty much getting what I get out of my current family life from them. Because I'm like, you know, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm hanging out around them. We're going out and doing stuff during the day. We're going out at night together. It's like at that point in your life, having friends is so important. And at this point in my life, having friends is so optional, because like outside of making content, you know, like for making content is super important. And it's like with a lot of my friends, it's like we make so much content together that it's like, and then we're in like a group chat and it's like we almost never really have a reason to like talk at length off camera.
Right. Exactly. No, I definitely agree. And that's why, like, when you do start dating somebody super serious, like I bet your BMX dudes, when you start dating her, were like, yo, what the fuck? What about us?
Yeah, but I feel like they also understood, because at that point it's like I'm 32, you guys are all like 21 to like 25.
Right.
You know, they kind of just recognized that I was totally in a different place in my life, you know?
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying like if you're like 22 or something, like you're a little younger.
Well, we all have that homie who gets a girlfriend and basically like you realize like, oh, we meant nothing to you. You were just waiting to get a girlfriend.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I think it is a big change to go to. And I think for me, I would travel and tour so much and then just focus on doing videos and then hang out with her. And then when now it's like I wasn't really hanging out with a lot of friends that weren't like work related. So now that I'm just trying to figure out life again, I got a weekend off. I'm like, who do I fucking hang out with?
Right.
Like who? Oh, okay, I'll talk to you. Oh, you guys are getting married in a week. Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. Oh, you have marriage plans. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Would you guys want to go do a thing?
Yeah, that part of my brain, that muscle, that impulse that I haven't had to engage in so long of like, oh right, I should hit up people that I make content with, my friends, and I should tell them that I want to know what they're doing, and maybe I could go out into the real world and be around other people.
Yeah, the other guys that I film with a lot, like
I haven't done this in a while. Yeah,
my buddy Sherdley's, who's like I make so many videos with him, who's like one of my favorite comedians.
Right, he's hilarious.
Like, yeah, he's great. Every time that I like just be like, dude, you guys just trying to hang out? They'll be like, and not film? Or like, what do you, like, you never hang out with us. Like, you just film, then dip. And I'm like,
we are all David Dobrik now.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's just funny for them to hear it. And then, or like after we film, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to get a drink? Or you guys want to go get food? And they're like, this is so unlike you. You're usually just here, then gone. So,
right.
I don't know. You kind of just figure it out. But,
and I remember like, being in my early mid 20s, and one of my main annoyances with dudes who are older would be that we're like, you know, we're BMX dudes, so it's kind of expected that when you're going out riding bikes that you're not in a hurry. You're like, if you're going out riding bikes at 2 p.m., that it's like
that's
you might,
your day.
you know, you're just out hanging out, and if you ride some ledge for 20 minutes, you might sit around at the ledge and drink an Arizona iced tea for an hour. Like this is not like a pressing schedule that we're on. We're just hanging out, having a good time. And now that I have a kid and this like insanely busy schedule, and the fact that like, if in an afternoon I choose to like do 3 podcasts, that's worth X amount of dollars to me. You know, that's like a valuable use of my time. And if I take that time and I just go sit around in a fucking alley with this fucking Phil guy right here who's taking pictures of me right now for the thumbnail, that, you know, you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons in your brain, you know?
All right, people, we just hit 300,000 subscribers. You know we're trying to hit 400,000 subscribers. So that little red button, tap it, tap in. We appreciate y'all.